never know what it's like to go to a father-daughter dance.
And this man come up with a gift?
When I bring him around, what happens?
Your Honor,
When I bring him around, what happens?
If you want to be with your wife, you all have got to find out how to trust one another.
I didn't want to be by myself while I was pregnant.
I mean, that really had to be confusing.
Definitely the paternity test is definitely a lie.
But you had already had sex with a coworker.
And why did I get with him?
I changed, that's all. I changed.
The one that's been consistent.
We've got Mr. Matthews here, the self-proclaimed king of mistakes, and he was here duking it out with Miss Shaw, and she was determined to prove another man is her daughter's real dad. Brace yourselves, folks, for a paternity battle of mythic proportions, with dashes of hilarity, of course.
Mr. Matthews, you say you've made many mistakes in your life, but the worst is not being a good dad to the defendant's daughter, Kiana. You claim that has caused her to deny you are her daughter's father. You are here to prove the truth. She, biologically, is yours. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now imagine this, the plaintiff, the bad dad battling baby mama, who tried to get a DNA test years ago, only to be met with a tall tale. Turns out, these two lovebirds were both married when their shoddy affair started. We have got drama, scandal, and extramarital affairs. What could go wrong, right?
So you're saying you were not a good father?
Not at all.
And so your belief is that this whole issue is surrounding your failure to be a good father.
That's true.
Is that true, Ms. Shaw?
No, Your Honor. I tried to make things right a long time ago. I tried to get a DNA test. And when we went before the magistrate, he looked at me and told him that he never slept with me.
Well, here's the lowdown on Miss Kiona. She was stuck in a web of uncertainty, watching her so-called dad love his other kids while she felt left out. Oops! But hold on, the real twist was something else. Evidently, Mommy had withheld certain information from certain key players. Sorry, not sorry much.
But Ms. Shaw, you said that Kiana had already been going over to their house.
Yes.
So how old was Kiana when you were at this magistrate hearing?
She was 8.
8 years old?
Yes.
You're nodding too, Kiana, so you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
So you
that
remember
child.
going over his house?
Yeah, at least once I remember going over for Halloween.
And your mother told you you're going over to your father's house?
Yes.
So, fast forward to pregnancy, and there are quite a few people involved. We had Mr. Matthews bringing sandwiches on the scene, even though the guy had a wife. It's a messy love triangle ready to be exploded. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'll tell you something, that fish sandwich is magical when you're pregnant.
Yes.
I used to crave those too. That was funny you said that. I said, now that testimony is true.
Yes. It was something. He worked the night shift, and every night when
Also,
we would
she
get
had
off,
me feed her
he
to
would
her,
come
too.
and feed me
All right then.
and rub my stomach.
So you
Yes.
remember that.
Did
But
that.
wait, I want to understand this. So you're pregnant, but your husband's somewhere else.
Right.
Right.
Apparently, growing up, the plaintiff had been aware of multiple potential dads. Wow! But she was secretly hoping Mr. Matthews was the real deal, all while he had been MIA for most of her life. Classic deadbeat.
So you got pregnant, and you, in that moment, this tit for tat thing you were doing with your husband,
Yes.
it got real. Kiana, at what point did you hear that there could be another possibility besides Mr. Matthews?
I always knew that her husband at the time could have been my father. Mr. Brooks could have been my father, and Mr. Matthews. So I always knew that it could have
So
been.
you
it was a
grew up
possibility.
knowing that there were at least 3 possibilities of who could be your father.
Yes.
Moving on, the truth unfolds even further as we learn that Mama's husband, Mr. Brooks, along with Mr. Matthews, all had their moments at the hospital when Kiona was born. What a bizarre family dynamic, right? Way to make it hilarious and serious. Now that's a tough nut to crack.
Did you accept in your mind that this is my daughter without question?
My grandmother went over there and seen the baby because Miss Shaw was living at the time. Rumors fly around. First, my grandmother told my mother, then my mother told me, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna sit back there and say yes.
What did they say?
She said, well, the baby look like you. I said, no, it don't. I'm not gonna sit back because I didn't want my wife to.
Well, Ms. Kiona wasn't done hoping against hope and revealing she had a soft spot for the defendant, despite his shortcomings as a dad, denial, or plain naivety. On the other hand, things were getting even more confusing.
I never lied to anyone about anything.
Yeah, you did.
What I lie about? What I lie about?
Well, I'm gonna interject with that. Woo!
Speak some truth.
I didn't know that you two were still together.
We wasn't. We were still married. So if anytime he come over, yes, he can come and stay.
Every time I came over there, you made me feel like I was comfortable at your house.
You was comfortable.
Yeah, you
Because
rubbing me
if-
down,
if-
and
if I tell
you
to
cooking
come,
dinner.
yes, I'm cooking dinner.
About time we pulled the plug on this mystery. It had gone on long enough. The moment of truth was upon these guys. Would Ms. Kiona get what she so desperately wanted? Or would fate take yet another funny turn in her life? Let's find out.
Mr. Matthews, you are not the father. I'm so sorry, Kiana. Neither
she-
gentleman is her biological father.
She'll always be mine no matter what. I love her.
Was that something you had prepared yourself at all for, honey?
No.
I'm sorry. Miss Shaw, I want to understand this. So there were potentially 5 men who could be her biological father.
Mr. Campbell accuses his ex-girlfriend of being a gold-digging mastermind. We've got a juicy paternity dispute on our hands here, people. Better, buckle up for this wild ride. Will the baby daddy be able to dodge the baby daddy label, or was this just a case of gold digging gone wrong? Well, we are going to find out one way or another.
Mr. Campbell, you are here today because you say your ex-girlfriend is nothing but a conniving, gold-digging cheater whose goal is to pin her 9-month-old son legacy on you for her own personal gain. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. McSear, you say Mr. Campbell is a compulsive liar.
So baby mama was the queen of taking, but the real entertainment came from the sarcastic back and forth, with both parties accusing each other of being the ultimate liar. You'd think you're watching a soap opera, not paternity court. Get real, people.
Mr. Campbell is your child's father.
We were in a relationship and we stayed together and we was together every day.
All right.
Your Honor, I went through her phone on numerous occasions and I seen her talking to different men inappropriately, and it's outrageous. How can I trust somebody who talks to different men, who sends their pictures to different men, explicit pictures to different men, and you expect me to think we're in an exclusive relationship?
Oh, the pregnancy doubts were real. Baby daddy was calling mama a range of colorful names, from being a homewrecker to being fond of sleeping with married men. Ooh, the accusations were taking a creative turn, and we were here for it.
You know it's the truth.
This is part of your habitual lying.
You know it's the truth, Mariah.
Not at all.
One day she went out and I saw her in her bra and panties in the room with another man. When I came to the house, I came to come get some stuff, and when I came to that house, there was a random car sitting in that driveway. I came and I knocked on that door, and I seen her almost half naked in there with another man, and the man is sitting on the edge of the bed.
Well, when the going gets tough, no fear, cause baby mama took out the big guns. Yep, she claimed to know the date and time she conceived. Hold on to your seats because the big news is here. And man, I was pumped.
So you had heard that she would be with married men.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you believe one of them could potentially be Legacy's biological father.
Yes, or
I know when I
multiple-
conceived.
or
I know when I
multiple people.
conceived.
So you say you know when you conceive?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you know this, Miss McSear?
Because in September of 2017, Hurricane Irma hit. At that time, we were staying together, and it was a tree blocking my driveway. I could not go nowhere. We were stuck in the house. It was no electricity.
Hurricane Irma made a noteworthy appearance, but the million-dollar question was, did the plaintiff remember the passionate night? Of course, the judge put it aptly. Kudos to her. And then the court just erupted in hysterics.
Do you remember that hurricane?
Yes, I remember that hurricane.
Do you remember the storm in Miss McSear's bed?
Yes, Your Honor, I do remember that, yes.
Okay.
I do remember. But the conception time it doesn't add up, Your Honor.
Why doesn't it add up to you? Explain.
She told me she got pregnant around the end of September, not the beginning.
Lucky for you all, I have my conception calculator and we can get down to the bottom of that too.
Mr. Campbell came up with an exhibit next, detailing all the way he had witnessed mommy with other guys. Yep, baby mama was playing the getting back game. Little did she know, she was asking for trouble of epic proportions.
Over the course of our relationship, Mariah has sent me multiple pictures with 4 different men holding this child. 4
Really?
different men, and she cannot deny that.
Yeah.
Can you, Your Honor?
4 different men holding the baby?
Yes, Your Honor, sending the pictures to me, and in those pictures, none of them was me. So are you 100% sure that I am the father of this child? But you're sending me pictures of somebody else holding this child? Just random men that she have sexual relationships with.
How do you know I had sexual relations? That's
Because they're laying in your bed.
Oh, the baby daddy wasn't done with his presentation yet. Nope. Coming up was the snooping done by the plaintiff and the astonishing result of that endeavor. Now, how would Ms. Messier defend that one?
One day I went through Mariah's phone and I seen a man texting her a message saying, "Hey, what's up with my baby?" And I read it saying, "My baby? I thought it was my baby." I'm confused now.
You're
and you
lying.
can't deny that.
No, you're lying.
And this is during the time she was still pregnant with the baby. And he was asking her how she was doing, and she was
You wasn't even there my whole pregnancy, so how could you say that? When you came back around, he was already 2 weeks old.
Yes,
Keep
and
lying.
Okay,
Keep
and I
lying.
went through your
Keep
phone.
lying.
So the baby daddy daddy had little to no relationship with baby Legacy, and he, of course, blamed it all on the defendant. However, she answered fire with fire. Bet he didn't see that coming, and that showed.
You ever do is ask me for money. Every time I do try to come around, I have to bring something. I can't never just come empty-handed. Your Honor.
What have you bought him?
Time relationship.
What have you bought him? What have you
beg
given
her.
him?
I beg her. Can I see him?
And when I bring him around, what happens? When I bring him around, what happens?
Your Honor,
when I bring him around, what happens? 2 seconds into the visit, you're in my face trying to figure out who I'm with and what I'm doing. You don't worry about your son. That is not your concern.
That's a lie. That's
no,
a lie.
you're a lie.
That
The
is
only
a lie.
reason you deny him is because I don't want to be with you no more.
That is a lie.
You're a cheater.
Well, something was going on with these guys, but the results were in, and Judge Lake had reached her patience with these guys. Drum roll, please, because the final verdict was here. Here goes nothing.
Campbell, you are the father. You're the father. That is your beautiful baby. Why does it make you feel so emotional?
Because she won't let me be in his life. Like, she hates me so much.
Miss Sanchez's 1-month-old daughter journey, along with her marriage, both were on the line, and she was convinced her husband wasn't buying a ticket for this paternity journey. But hold on, there's a twist. Can Mr. Brown's claims of a sorority girl fantasy hold up in court? Let the paternity games begin, folks.
Miss Sanchez Brown, you say that after 4 years and multiple children together, your marriage is now in crisis. You claim your husband is denying paternity of your 1-month-old daughter, Journey, and it is tearing you apart. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you say your wife kicked you out of the house in order to realize her fantasy of being a middle-aged single sorority girl.
Wow, juggling 7 kids at the age of 25? Now that was indeed a handful. So the marriage had been rocky. The wife claimed her husband had a habit of taking off, while he claimed it was separation. The question is, was their separation a chance to party or a path to paternity chaos? Oh, and don't forget the mystery guy in between.
We've been going through a lot. She ended up kicking me out the house during this time. And so as respectful I am, I left the house.
But kicking you out the house doesn't mean she made a baby with somebody else.
It do, because during the time she kicked me out the house, this was her time to, have her fun. She wanted to go out. I was going to pick up our other kids, babysitting. She dressing nice. She's going out to all different clubs.
So, from the plaintiff's perspective, this was a tale of betrayal. He's out of the house, she's out and about, and there you go. Rumors just flying about, and the one-time stranded incident was just a cherry on top.
Your Honor, I got family members, her family members calling me up. One night, Crystal dropped the kids off at 4, 5 in the morning. Hey, Crystal ain't been over here to pick up the kids. I got to stop what I'm doing at 5 in the morning to go pick these kids up. So where are you at?
My friend's car had broke down and overheated, and that's where all this is coming from, because I just literally got started.
At 5 a.m.
Ah, the plot was about to thicken like none other. Baby mama insisted Mr. Brown was still in the picture. Meanwhile, his narrative was all about clubs, babysitting, and wait for it, a potential other man. Yep.
During this time, Your Honor, by us arguing so much and that we got the kids, that she needs time to herself. She want to go, drink, and I've been with her for years, and she never, wanted to drink and do these things. So what I supposed to do if I'm seeing the difference in my wife? All of a sudden now you want to go out. All of a sudden now you want to have your space. And
But can club sighting determine paternity? Enter Mr. Booth, the friend from the club scene, who's a key witness. But are his sightings enough to resolve this chaotic conundrum?
All right, so Mr. Brown has testified that you saw with your own eyes his wife out with another man at this club.
Yes, Your Honor.
What did you see?
I say around Saturday, September 16th. Last year, I had seen Crystal in the club with, a guy, he a little taller than me with dreads, She had a little freaky dress on, a little sexy dress on, He was pop locking, dropping it, You feel me?
It was time for the birth certificate to rise and shine. Yep, but it had a whole lot of hospital drama attached to it, by the looks of it. Mr. Brown was at the birth, but soon got interrupted by a surprising visit. Uh-oh.
September and
Your Honor.
October.
Yes, Your Honor, we were not sexual.
So
We
untrue.
didn't do nothing.
So untrue.
And then, Your Honor, I want to bring up when the baby was born, I was at the hospital. We got back on good terms. I signed the footprints. Next thing I know, her family members are coming with this same man that said he slept with my wife.
Time to face the music, baby mama, because Ms. Sanchez claimed the certificate was signed. But check this out. The court got their hands on a copy of the original certificate, and guess what was on there?
There is no father's name listed
Thank you. if that's my daughter and why I'm getting escorted out. So of course I'm not finna sign the birth
reason why he
certificate.
got escorted out because he was being loud. And I said, I'm not gonna have you yelling around
Okay,
his
but
baby.
if that's my baby, you should want me there before anybody. Why would I
But
want
you
to
denied
leave?
her.
Okay.
That was the thing. When you
but
first
I'm
looked at her,
still
you're like,
showing up,
oh,
though.
she's too white, she's too whatever.
So, the couple's fate was hanging in the balance. Mommy left no stone unturned in being in a rock and hard place. The only thing left to do now was to let the judge give her final verdict. Here we go.
Mr. Brown, you are the father.
Your Honor, I just wanted to know was the baby mine, and hopefully, I'm still gonna continue to do what I can, but at the end of the day,
The Hoaglands were here in the court to either save the marriage or destroy what was left of it. Baby mama had been haunted by the paternity questions surrounding her baby girl, and she wanted the cycle to stop. Let's see if these guys managed to achieve that feat.
Ms. Hoagland, you confessed to having unprotected sex with your husband, Mr. Hoagland, as well as a co-worker within the same time period.
That's
now you
correct.
say you're here today because questions about paternity have haunted your marriage since the birth of your firstborn, 3-year-old Bentley.
That is correct.
Mr. Hoagland, you admit you treat Bentley differently than the other 2 children you and Mrs. Hoagland share.
So the wife was being accused straight off the bat. Our story began with Mrs. confessing to an intimate escapade with both her husband and a coworker. Turns out she was interested in the defendant. But guess what? The guy was practicing self-restraint.
Guy that she got with obviously took advantage of her.
And why did I get with him? I got with him because your roommate, your controlling roommate at this company, told me that you were interested in dating anyone. The second day that I met you, I told him I was interested in you, and he told me not to even worry because you were celibate.
Well, I was practicing celibacy. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think it's a bad thing.
That you
the
weren't
fact of the
interested in a
matter is
relationship.
that I approached you.
Well, look here. Baby mama did not come here to just play. Oh, she came with facts and exhibits. She started with her conception calendar. Now, ain't the music for us paternity court enthusiasts? However, the math on that one was not adding up. Can trust be rebuilt? Only time will tell.
As you can see, on the 2nd is when I had an intimate relationship with my coworker.
In blue.
Yes. And then on the 20th of June is when I started an intimate relationship with my now husband.
Okay, and so when is the window of conception?
I spoke to my doctor, and my doctor told me that the window of conception was in this first week of June.
Safe to assume, Mrs. Hoagland's pregnancy journey was filled with twists and turns. The potential father was taken by surprise, and now there's a web of entangled relationships. And poor baby Bentley was caught right in the middle of this mess.
And I have this image of the guy that she was with before me. He does resemble him.
So does he look like your other children?
I mean, his younger brother, Presley, I mean, they have very similarities. As far as the only similarities, it's really,
I mean, you're looking up at this child like, it's like it's bizarre to you. Do you treat this child differently?
I do treat him differently.
Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, it was finally here. Judge Lake had the results and was ready to deliver them to the eager audience. Time to see whether this marriage had a future or not.
Mr. Hoagland Jr., you are Bentley's father.
Yeah! What?
Mr. Hoagland, you need to talk to her. And you need to understand that regardless of what you have on your plate, school, work, anything else.
Ms. Holman had enough of the defendant denying the paternity of her baby girl Alani. It appears Mr. Drumgold had a hard time stepping up to the role of fatherhood, but had no problem with ringing up the mama for some nightly activities.
Ms. Holman, you opened this case against Mr. Drumgold because you claim he denies fathering your 2-month-old daughter, Alani. You want Mr. Drumgold to step up after today's results, prove what you believe. He is the father, is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Drumgold, you claim there is no way you are her daughter's father because you know for a fact Ms. Holman was sleeping with at least 2 other men at the time of conception.
So there was more than one player in the game. Well, that's a paternity court requirement, I must say. Our tale began with the plaintiff, who had quite the open door policy in her romantic life. Yeah, she danced her way into the defendant's heart. Little did he know mommy had a revolving door.
Incidents that I know and 2 other gentlemen that I know during the time that she supposed to had Alani that she was dealing with.
Oh, can I speak, please?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
So at the same time, me and Mr. Drumgo were never in a relationship. We have always had an open relationship. The fact that he knew that there was a possibility he could have been Alani's father, he should have made some type of effort. He said he showed up at my house to bring me something, but someone else was there, so he decided to leave.
Mr. Drumgold, however, was busy playing the not the father card. He's convinced that Miss Holman was involved with not one, but multiple other gentlemen, and the sting of that was pretty real in his voice.
And so how do you know she was with other men?
As far as I came to her mother's house and another man was rubbing her belly.
One at a time.
He knew I was dealing with other men because I was very honest with Robert, Mr. Drumgold, up front. I was super honest with him, and I told him, like, I'm doing me, you doing you, because I know how you get down, period. When I was all in for it with him, he was not wanting no parts of me. But parts of me.
All right, but hold on.
The confusion deepens further as Miss Holman's timeline comes into question. Baby daddy's doubts were as real as they could get. And why wouldn't they when one comes across another dude rubbing the baby bump of mama? Ouch!
But at the time, again, she was telling me it's no possibility it could be anyone else.
So is this the man you were intimate with, Miss Holman?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
So I like to hear all the testimony, so I'd like to hear from this possible father. Jerome, will you please escort Mr. Rich into the courtroom?
By the looks of it, it seemed Miss Holman was playing all these guys like a fiddle. Oh yeah, she made Mr. Rich believe he was the father, right up till they argued. And then minutes later, Daddy Boo became Boy Boo.
That you weren't. Do you remember that?
I mean, she told me I was the father all the way up to the time we got in the argument and I left. Like 30 minutes later, she texted my phone, said, "Boy Boo, that baby not yours anyway."
Boy Boo.
I remember exactly what the text read. I saved it in my phone.
Now, in an interesting turn of events, the second baby daddy claimed he got to know about other players in the game just a while ago, but that's not how the defendant thought things went down, and he was all the more happy to take us along that so pleasant journey.
After I saw him rubbing her stomach, I hit him up on Facebook, and I told him, look, I know she probably saying she yours, but she's telling me the same thing. Instead of him being a man and responding to me, he went and told her, and she called me, "Oh, why you tell him that? Why you tell him that?" So no, it's not the first time here.
Hold on, that's exactly where he should go. It's to ask the source.
Amidst all this topsy-turviness, the baby mama decided to go on a self-reflection journey. Yep, right during the court proceedings. However, she did manage to drop some heavy truth bombs, some of which caused Mr. Rich to just up and leave.
No, I
You had time to make 2 phone calls?
No,
later?
I actually got a text saying I had the baby.
Okay, well.
I actually got a text saying I had the baby.
Either way, I let him know Russell showed up at the hospital and he was there with me.
Mr. Rich?
Yes, I'm sorry, Rich.
And Mr. Rich was there at the hospital when Alani was born?
Correct.
Now, Mr. Rich, did you sign the birth certificate?
No, Your Honor.
And then you sent a text to Mr. Drumgold, she's here.
Moving on, another guy enters this mix of paternity mess. Yep, 3 guys now. And you would not believe that this one too was apparently in love with the mama. Oh boy, it was getting crowded in here, man.
And what does that mean to you, to be a father to this beautiful, innocent little girl? What does it mean?
It means a lot to me. A lot of kids don't get the opportunity to have a good father in their life.
As tensions flare and accusations fly, the courtroom awaited the results with bated breath. No worries though, because they were ready to be delivered. Will Alani's true parentage be revealed, or will the mystery continue to haunt these 3 lovers? We are about to find out!